I'd like to introduce our guest tonight, Allison Keeney. She's the Assistant Director of the Mildred Matthias Botanical Garden. And just a little brief background on her. She is a native from LA. She's from San Pedro. She went to school at San Luis Obispo, the Cal Poly there. Got her degree in ornamental horticulture. After graduation, she bought a landscape company that did both interior and exterior landscapes, and did that for 13 years until she took a break to have her children, kind of did some side work here and there, and then worked for a private sector landscape company until her dream job showed up, as she put it, which is Assistant Director of the Mildred Matthias Botanical Garden, as we saw. And she's going to tell us tonight about a project that she oversaw, one of many, but a very major project, the major stream reconstruction and revamping all the irrigation in the garden. So come on up. I'm happy to have you.
Let me get my notes out. Okay. So I've been at the Mildred Matthias Botanical Garden for about 3 years, and we have undertook several projects since I started. The Waterworks project has been the largest project that we have worked on since I started, and possibly the largest project the garden has ever done since they started. The project encompassed not only installing a new stream system, but also irrigating the entire garden. Mildred Matthias actually fought for an irrigation system. You have to understand the garden was not irrigated. We hand irrigated for almost 100 years. And she fought for an irrigation system 50 years ago. We're finally making her dream come true. We are excited to finally have both these projects completed. So I thought, to start with, I wanted to share some history of the Mildred Matthias Botanical Garden at UCLA. So I'm going to take you on a trip down memory lane of Westwood and UCLA's early days. Okay, that is UCLA right there. That's the first buildings. This is a natural arroyo, and this is where the Botanical Garden is, right here. This is Hillsgard Avenue. This is what early Westwood looked like before it was developed. It's a filmed photo in black and white, and I colorized it so you get a better feel of what it looked like back in the day. Now, there's a memoir titled The Shocking Miss Pilgrim, and it's written by Frederica Sabar Mason. The book provides a unique perspective on the film industry and Hollywood culture during the early days. Additionally, it includes a brief section about Westwood before it developed into the Westwood we know today. I'm going to read that soon. One of the early charms of Westwood before the village came into being was a sylvan hideaway, a wooded copse that was later included in the land allocation for the university. One could escape and right in the middle of the city to an untrampled paradise where foxes and raccoons roamed and even an occasional deer could be seen. Here was a verdant Garden of Eden, unspoiled, perfumed by pines and sage, wild oak and berry bushes. Songbirds abounded, roadrunners settled across one's path. Rabbits, chipmunks, and squirrels were at home here. A botanist would have reveled in the variety of its wildflowers. The Macises had discovered this miniature Little Red Riding Hood forest long before the jammed building spree of Westwood Village. While living in Beverly Hills, we would frequently pack a lunch and wander into the woods for a picnic. There we would walk and talk and work on story ideas. Now, the original location of UCLA was on Vermont Avenue, and then it was moved to Westwood in 1929. And the Botanical Garden at that time covered 31 acres of vegetation and coastal sage scrub. That's what was in the garden. So I want you to kind of see, this is the original location. A little bit closer up. This is our garden right here. This is Hershey Hall. It's one of the first buildings after they built this. It was the first woman's dorm. And again, this is Hildgard, and this is Sorority Row and houses. So the garden is located in a natural arroyo, featuring varied topography that supports a wide range of plant species. The existing stream was previously a seasonal creek that filled with water during the winter storms, and of course dried out in the summer. Here's some original photos from the garden early in the 1930s. So that right there is Hershey Hall. And this is our garden. Again, I colorized the photos to give you a little better perception of what it looked like. So you can see a lot of the early plants were dry and desert biome type plants. Now, we had 31 acres to start with. This is UCLA in 1950. And I'm just going to give you a reference here. This is Hershey Hall, and this is our garden, right here. This is what it looked like 3 years later. This is Hershey Hall. So all this area that was part of the garden was changed. So as you know, I'm sure that when they got UCLA, all this land was great, but soon, land, because as we know in Los Angeles and other parts of California that real estate is a big deal. And so the borders changed in the Botanical Garden over time. So by 1970, UCLA's expansion surrounded the garden on all 3 sides, resulting in a significant reduction of its size. Now today it occupies 7.5 acres and it's completely encircled by UCLA and urban development of Westwood. So here, this is a more recent photo. This is the nursing building here. These are our greenhouses. This is Hershey Hall. So you can kind of see the development. We have a lot of lovely big trees. So going back to the natural arroyo, in the 1960s, an underground storm drain was constructed underneath the natural arroyo, which led to the creation of a recirculating stream above the ground. This newly formed stream established a cool microclimate for the plant, provided a habitat for koi, and served as a water source for birds. So here's a picture we found of somebody, a picture of their friend in the garden in 1961. It's pretty cool. Colorizing it didn't work very well, but you get the idea. It's pretty cool. Okay, now, before 1923, when we tore up the stream, this is what this stream looked like. And here's some pictures before construction. That was our waterfall. Very small, very hidden, and not very loud, so you couldn't quite hear it. The stream was not easy to approach. We had soft sides, very slow movement of water. It allowed for some tropical plants to really grow robustly because they got all that stream water, but it also resulted in a muddy stream and a significant mosquito problem. Not to mention the water loss, because we only had part of the stream that had an impermeable bottom. A lot of it was just permeable. We faced an issue with redwood sliders. Here's some more pictures. I wanted to just show you before I go on to the turtles. That guy liked to eat koi. This is our stream. You can see the soft sides. This was the end of our stream, kind of our catchment pond, storm drains over here, and that was our old pump. It was just a small pump that pushed the water up to the top. Not super strong. Anyways, we had an issue with redwood sliders that pet owners would deposit at the garden. They'd go to like flea markets and things and get a cute little turtle. And then the turtle just kept getting bigger and bigger. And then they'd say to Junior, let's go bring it to UCLA where it could be with its friends. So we had a big population of red-eared sliders, which contributed to the murky water and the unpleasant smell that we would get. So we did have to remove the turtles, and we brought them to a place called Sun and Water Garden, and they adopted them out with the understanding they would not put them in natural waterways. They are one of the most invasive species, I think, in the world. Another invasive species from the south, red-eared sliders are from the southern part of the United States. So are red swamp crayfish. And we had a lot of those. You couldn't see them. They did mud tunnels, and it's because we didn't have concrete sides. We had a big crayfish problem. One time we put some lotus in the stream in a basket, and the roots were eaten almost overnight. So that was a big problem too. The crayfish disrupt the predator-prey relationship in the ecosystem by killing and driving away dragonfly nymphs from the waterways. And as a result, the number of dragonflies decreases, which in turn increases the population of mosquito larvae. Red swamp crayfish also chew up vegetation and alter the water quality. So by leaving the stream dry for many months, we are really hoping that we got rid of the red swamp crayfish. We also had concrete sides, so it was hard for them to tunnel. Now, as you can see from the pictures that we have, soft sides to the edges, which allow our tropical plants to flourish, as the stream is mostly permeable. We also had some noteworthy trees that were happy having, here's our original stream, we're going to talk about plants now. Sorry, I got lost along the way. So here's our original stream plants. So I showed you a picture of the stream. These are more like, you can see our tropical plants were very happy getting all that water. Here's a funny story. So this stream, a lot of times you couldn't even see it, there was stuff growing in it. So I remember going in there to try to clear out some of the growth that was covering the stream. And the water looked like it was about this deep. So I put on some boots and started to sink. And it totally freaked me out. So I jumped out of my boots, got onto the shoreline, and those were my wellies right there. We tried to start an urban legend, but that didn't really work. But we eventually got those wellies out of the stream. Now, we're going to talk about a champion tree. We have a champion tree in our garden. It's called Eucalyptus grandis. It's not native to California, of course. Also called the rose gum. And it's about 220 feet tall. It was named champion tree by Mildred at Cal Poly, San Obispo. And we also have, right here, you're looking at a metasequoia. We have 4 specimens of metasequoia. I think we planted 6, and 4 have survived. How many of you know the history of the metasequoia? Oh, Laura does. I'm going to tell the rest of you this, in case you don't already know, okay? So, until 1941, the world thought the metasequoia was extinct. I actually have a fossil that somebody gave me, because it's so cool. But none of the fossils that were found were under 150 million years old. So, very old fossils. Well, in 1941, a professor of forest management in China discovered an enormous living specimen in the Sichuan and Hubei provinces of China. So once they discovered what it was, they distributed this. So there's these trees distributed all over now because they were native to many areas, not just the United States. So this is a particularly beautiful specimen we have. It's our largest specimen. And we had some concerns because the roots, the stream was right back here. And we were going to fill in back here and run the stream in front of the tree, not wanting to disturb the roots of the tree, because it is a special tree. When we drained the stream, this is what we found. So this is the metasequoia over here. This is this palm right here, okay? We took the palms out. We had to take the palms out for the stream. But they're Phoenix robolinis, no, canariensis. So, and they were not in the best of health anyway. But all along here, what you see are the roots of the metasequoia. So now we were very concerned about the footprint of the stream and destroying this wonderful tree. So we filled this in. We did a lot of irrigation because it was used to having all that water, so we had to irrigate during the project. But here is the footprint of that area. So this brown area is the original stream. Okay? The blue was the proposed area of the stream. But when we dug, we realized we had to protect the roots here. We could not come through here. It was too close to the tree. So we made a new line to try to save those roots and keep as many roots as possible. And so the red line is the new outline of the stream to protect the metasequoia. So I'm going to talk more about the plants and the planting, but I thought you would enjoy some time traveling through the summer of 2023 to the finishing of the stream in 2024. July 2023. This is the excavation of the stream. This is where the waterfall was. And that box is some type of storm drain water tester that wasn't part of the garden. I think it was part of UCLA, so we had to move it to a different area of the garden so that, because it has a solar panel, it doesn't need to be connected to electricity, so that was moved. August 2023. And just so you can see in this picture right here, this is another wonderful tree we have. That's a Torrey pine. Now, it's not the biggest Torrey pine, but it is one of the biggest and arguably the rarest pine tree in the world. So we're very proud of that one too. And if any of you spend any time in West LA, there's not a lot of really big trees. But we have really big trees, probably due to the stream that they got all the water from. But anyways, this is, okay. When you start a project in the summer, you automatically think you're going to have several dry months to work with. And we had an unprecedented 2.5 inches fall in August of 2023. Do you guys remember that? So we had to cover everything with plastic so that we could continue to work. September 2023, started to build waterfall walls. There's just the beginning of our waterfall. Now the black plastic you see here was what they have to cover it when it starts to rain. This black is not, this is like a rubber liner. So in order for this stream to not leak, if you just put the rubber liner in and you walk in there, you could break the rubber liner and puncture it. So we put the rubber liner down first and then we put concrete on top of it. So that is what you're seeing right there before they put the concrete in. This is where they put the concrete in over the rubber liner. Then they threw cobble at the wet concrete randomly throughout that area to keep the cobble in place. And then once that was dry, they put the loose cobble in. This is February. You can see that this is where the water comes out. So it gets pumped all the way from the bottom up to here, and the water comes out at the top of that waterfall. So this is basically the finished stream before we had water. It was very exciting. You guys didn't have to go through this yourself, but it was very exciting. And I'm going to treat you to this. I can do it. Oh, this is a PDF, so I can't. But this was a video of the water going on and coming down the stream for the first time. But you guys can come and visit and see yourself. And this is like late summer, early fall in the garden after we planted and things were starting to fill in. Okay, so stream and water irrigation. Some facts about that. Now, other than having 2 pumps, these pumps are for the waterfalls. We have a big waterfall at the top, and we have another water feature at the bottom of the stream, mostly for it as a water feature and to create sound next to Hildgard Avenue, so it's not quite so noisy. This is a pump that pumps water out of the stream into an irrigation system we have to use gray water. Okay, drip irrigation serves many of our plantings adjacent to the stream's edge. And running short. Here it is. The idea was that we would use the nutrient-rich water for the plants and add fresh water to the stream to keep it clean. So water gets pumped out from the gray water system into our drip irrigation. We can't use sprayers. We're using gray water. You can use sprayers. It's not safe. But so once it pulls water into the drip irrigation system, this is our catchment pond. So you know, this is we call it our lily pond. We call this the serenity pond. Right back there is another water feature. This is Hildgard over here. There's a float over here that refills the pond once we've used the gray water. And you can see right here the water coming in to refill. Okay, now the renovation of the stream at the town garden features its catchment pond, specifically designed to manage runoff water, storm drain, manage storm water runoff. The contractors estimate the pond's average storage capacity to hold up to 13,700 gallons of runoff. Positioned at the lowest point of our network of streams and ponds, and possibly the lowest part of UCLA, the proposed catchment pond plays a critical role, or a crucial role, in collecting stormwater from both the garden and parts of UCLA. Runoff from the garden is channeled through underground pipes and is designated to designated areas of the stream. So these runoff pipes will come through the garden, run off, and it comes into our stream to catch water. For rainfall estimates, their analysis shows that a rainfall of 0.6 inches generates approximately 13,767 gallons of runoff water that enters the stream system. The catchment pond is engineered to capture the initial 0.6 inches of rainfall. Any precipitation exceeding this amount will overflow into the storm drain system. For instance, in 2019, rainfall resulted in a total runoff of 358,000 gallons. Of this total, 281,000 gallons, about 78%, would have been successfully captured, while the remaining 77,000 gallons, or 22%, would have overflowed into the storm drain. Of course, this rain didn't happen all in one day, because that would not work. So this is the rain over the entire season. Okay, so you see the little pond. So there was a landscape plan for the whole stream, but we had so many plants that we excavated to save that were going to get torn up during the whole reconstruction process. So we potted those up, and then we put them up in our shade house, and we kept those. But this area, this California riparian area, this is at the head of the stream. This is our waterfall here. You can see our stream. And we decided, we basically did all new plants here. Virtually all the plants are new. We do have, and basically, for you purists out there, there are some plants that are not California natives, but basically almost all of them are California natives. We did use the red river birch, because I like the bark, and it's deciduous. But right here we have some meadow plantings, and we have, there's a variety of things I'm going to show you. You can see in the list that the slope plantings, we have mosquito grass, we have deer grass, we have California buckeye, we have backwoods planters, many different things. The only tree that we planted that is not native was the Betula nigra heritage, but it is a beautiful tree. And then, of course, the meadow plants. So this is us planting the California riparian area. As after we finished, they really wouldn't let us in. We wanted to get planting while we were still working on the stream, but a lot of the plantings probably would have been destroyed. by the construction, but we were excited to get there and start planting. So these are just snapshots of some of the plants we planted in the slope plantings, not all of them. So here's the slope plants. You can see the mosquito grass and the deer grass and the ceanothus and some other plants here. These are the trees. The one in the middle is dogwood. We actually had a dogwood in the stream that was quite old, and it was quite tall. These dogwoods usually more shrubby. We were able to save that and put that back in. It's more of a riparian species. These are some of the things we put in the California riparian meadow. This right here is Tritolea, right, Laura? Yeah, we got that from your nursery. And it bloomed a long time. I just want to just shout out for that. It bloomed for like 2 months. I've never seen a bulb bloom that long. It was great. These are, now this is also kind of a bit of trial and error. We're planting a lot of things these things are not all from Southern California. We have plants from all over California. Northern California, Southern California, riparian plants, because we want to try to create this unique environment where we don't really have Southern California, we're stream-side beds. So we're going to see how that works and find a species that work best. Because they do get a certain amount of splash and moisture. And then as our trees grow, we're going to have different shade and different light situations. This is not necessarily in the California riparian section, but the two on the left, the juncus and the Yerba Buena are, but these are some of the plants we planted in our bogs. So here we are planting some of the tropical plants, and you can kind of see here, these are bogs right here. There's another bog here. And these are some of the tropical plants we excavated to replant. And they're just beautiful in the summertime when they bloom. They really are happy in the moist heat. So here they are planted. I know it looks a little dry. It's looking better and better all the time. And we're excited to have those in the ground now. Here's the bog. That's the Marcellia, the water fern that I took over. One of our tropicals. And this is our koi pond. And right in the middle we have a little island we call Koi Island. We wanted to do all Japanese plants, but we just decided this is kind of a part of our Asian section. One of the challenges of this job is you go through the area, we have sections, like we have an Asian section, we have like the Mesoamerican section. So to take the tropicals and try to get them in the right spots as people move through the garden. It's not perfect, but we worked on that. So this is our little Koi Island. We used a lot of the plants we already had, plus we put a Japanese maple in there. And it's going to be just lovely once it grows a little more. And this right here, just a shout out for Carapia. We don't want to do grass, but we did some Carapia actually is technically a California native. And people can even walk on it. It's pretty tough. And it is just like a flat green spot. Your eye kind of needs that sometimes, just to have an area that's not busy. But I wanted to show you one more thing that's interesting. This right here, this area, so this goes up to our California native section up here. California riparian is just before we got to this part of the street. This is our Tongva garden. Now, the Tongva garden was one of the first projects we embarked on when I started working in the Botanical Garden. And the Botanical Garden in UCLA acknowledged the Tongva people as the original caretakers of the land. Located within the Botanical Garden, the Tongva Garden belongs to the Tongva people. We assisted in preparing the area and in sourcing the plants specifically chosen by them for their traditional basketry craft. During the project, they held a beautiful ceremony and blessed the land. They also planted all the source plants in their garden, and it's for them to harvest them. We help weed and do things like that, but it's for them to harvest and use. And so that was a wonderful project right there. So you can see the deer grass. There's also some other things that it's used, like dog baying, which is used for netting and other things that they use for textiles. So there's the waterfall up there. And these are two bog planters as you're coming down in the California riparian section. And it's a mixture of juncus and Chinoplex, which are doing very well. I just really had to cut them back. They were huge, like 7 feet tall. They really were they're very happy. So here is October 2024, just coming forward. So I'm just going to sum up the changing UCLA Mathias Botanical Garden as it has evolved into the 7.5 acre living museum, a hidden gem. There are people that graduate from UCLA that do not know there's a botanical garden there. A lot of people just don't even know that UCLA has a botanical garden. It is a rare and hidden gem, and it is a real respite amongst the surrounding city. The Botanical Garden is also the only free botanical garden in Los Angeles County. Now, and I can't finish without acknowledging our namesake. In 1951, Mildred Matthias became an assistant professor in the Department of Botany at UCLA, and she was one of the few women in the faculty position at UCLA. And I'm just going to throw in, she had 4 kids at the time. In 1956, she was appointed director of the Botanical Garden, serving until her retirement in 1974, during which she contributed significantly to the horticultural organizations in California. And I'm supposed to show you another picture here. Sorry. During which she contributed significantly to the horticultural organizations of California and beyond. After retiring in 1974, she began a new career as a tour guide for adult education, leading natural history trips to Costa Rica and the Peruvian Amazon. Over the years, she guided 53 groups and nearly 1,000 participants to various natural areas and museums in over 30 counties in her retirement, 30 countries, excuse me, in her retirement. Her impact extended beyond her tours. Many successful organizations have credited her with pivotal leadership roles in their early development, leaving a significant legacy in botany and conservation achievements. And we horticulturists will find this interesting. Ornamental horticulture bachelor's degree was once offered at UCLA. Notable research contributions were made in multiple areas of horticulture at UCLA. In 1965, the program was phased out and transferred to its activities to Davis and Riverside campuses. But luckily, Mildred Matthias founded the UCLA Extension Program in horticulture, and the program continues to provide a solid foundation in plant biology, soil health, plant identification, and horticultural care. So I wanted to share that with you. Anyways, that's it for tonight. And does anybody have any questions?
Allison, that was great, thank you. This new stream, because we can't really tell the context, how long is it?
Oh, that's a good question. I'd say it's about 200 feet. I could be wrong. I'm guessing 200, maybe a little bit more. But thanks for asking.
What form of irrigation did you put in?
So most of the garden is sprayers. The reason, a lot of people like drip, but drip is not very effective. We have a lot of squirrels and other critters that like to chew through our lines. We've already had to repair the lines several times. So we use the drip irrigation where we really couldn't use sprayers, and for the drip, for the gray water, because then it's not spraying up into the air. And, but almost all of them were sprayers. And they're the rotator, so they drop a little less water and more heavily, so we get less spray. Yes?
So the trees that were getting water from the stream before, how long and how often do you irrigate them now?
Oh, that's a good question, Carol. She asked about the trees that were getting all their roots in the stream. So what we did on those trees that we're really concerned about, which are basically the metasequoias, we put little wells. And we kind of like flood irrigate those bubbles. And we have 4 around each tree at the drip line. And we water them a lot. But we have to be careful because it can overwater and drop down the hills. But yes, we water a lot because we want to keep them happy, because I'm sure that they're not happy about not having that huge source of water. Basically, the stream, I haven't talked about how much water we save, because we are also irrigating without water too. But just so you know, before we started this, for that little tiny stream, we had a hose running all day long. We couldn't turn the hose off, or the stream would dry up. So now we only add water when we need it. It's not a constant. Lee.
Do you use city water to add extra water?
So basically, we tried to catch as much stormwater as we could. We have small space. So we use the water from the stream to irrigate, and then we add fresh water to the stream. But yes, we try to use as much as we can. So basically, the stream at a certain level will go up a certain amount. That way, when we use the rainwater and we pull it out, it won't need to refill as fast because it's caught a certain amount of water. Yes?
That was related to the tree that survived professional. Did that tree survive?
Yeah, so she's talking about a ginkgo tree that has the same DNA as the tree that survived the blast in Japan. And yes, that's over by the Hillgard Gate. It's doing fine. Thank you for asking. Yes, I'm proud of that tree too, but it didn't have its roots in the stream, so I'm not as worried. Susan.
So we had to remove the plants that were going to get in the way and you didn't want them to get trampled. What did you do with all those plants during that time?
So we couldn't save every plant. We just didn't have enough space. So we took these clumps of ginger and we took several clumps, put them in pots, and kept them in the shade house. There's no way we could save all of it, but we saved as much as we could, and especially those that were unique. There's some things like canna lilies, you know, if the hybrids, we didn't really save anything like that, but we saved the more unique ones, especially if they had provenance, which means we got it from the source of where they were growing. Yes, Laura.
So, sorry, to go back to water again.
Yeah.
Because I'm interested in projects that are using gray water. What is the source of the gray water? Is it municipal stormwater runoff, or is it the laundry machines at the university?
Well, that's a really good question. So, the gray water is pulled from the stream, but the stream gets municipal water. But it also gets runoff from our sprinklers and the body building HVAC system. So, and because we're the lowest part of the campus, I'm sure we're getting water from other areas as well. But the majority is the runoff from the garden and the roof of the botany building. Yes?
I have a two-part question. A simple question, do you have critters who come and, like ground squirrels who do damage and other critters who do damage? That was the first question. Second question, bigger question, what is your next big project?
These are great. Okay, I love these questions. Okay, so the first question, critters. Yes, we have a lot of squirrels. We have had possums. We very seldomly see coyotes. Occasionally see a rabbit. But birds are a big thing. We have owls that live in there. In fact, I had to go there at nighttime one time and I heard the owls up in the big trees there up in the Torrey Pine. So that's pretty cool. So we do have critters that, the squirrels, I want you to know this, the squirrels we have, when I was growing up down in San Pedro, West Palos area, there were no squirrels. We went to the mountains to see squirrels. Now we have squirrels all over Los Angeles. These squirrels are not native to Los Angeles. I found out that the Veterans Memorial Building is ground zero for the eastern fox squirrel. So guys brought these squirrels back from the East Coast and kept them as pets. And when they were tired of them, kind of like people with the turtles, they let them go. And so that is why we have so many of the brown squirrels. They're not a native squirrel. Question number 2, our next project is, okay, so I hate to burst the bubble after this. So we have all these new pathways, and we have new concrete ADA coming down, and the people that put the ADA path in put it right into a DG path. So it was like a little river the last time it rained, came down and wiped out our entire DG path. They did not put a channel drain at the bottom to take the water to put it into the street. So our next project is, and I'm actually, my boss and I are meeting with the person in charge of facilities at UCLA, in charge of projects, to talk about putting a better trail system in. Because as soon as we have ruts in that, it's not handicap accessible. And so that's what we really have to do, is get these trails in order. A couple of the other things we want to do, we want to redo the amphitheater, so it's a little more comfortable, more seating, and we have electricity and a system that people can talk into, because right now it's just, yelling. And then I would like to get a sound wall in some of these areas that are very noisy. But number one, the trails really need to be more accessible. They're dangerous right now. Thanks for asking. Yes?
I have a question on the gray water. I'm a little confused by your answer.
with seeing that it's coming from the stream, I thought the gray water was household, like showers, basically no meat or feces, but what do you mean, and then that it can't be stored, it has to be used immediately? So you said it's coming from the stream as well?
Yeah, so I guess it should, maybe I shouldn't call it gray water, I should call it reclaimed. Basically, so we put the fresh water into the stream to keep the stream clean, and then with the koi and things that, you know, excrete into the pond, the idea is we take that nutrient-rich water and we put it onto the plants rather than just giving them fresh water. So we're taking the used stream water, it's not as, it doesn't have soaps and other things in it other than stuff that may have run off during a rainstorm.
So you're not using, say, from household
No.
gray water at
No.
all, showers,
Although there's some,
toiletries.
but HVAC system with bodybuilding, but that's usually pretty clean water. You know what I mean? There might be some, but generally, yeah, it's just the stream water that we have put in through the municipal water.
And then it's
reused.
into the garden.
Yeah.
Okay, so that makes more sense
Yeah.
now.
And then runoff from the garden after we, run off through the soil that may come back into the stream.
Right.
Yeah, so.
And you said 0.6 inches of rain yields how much runoff? Or
Was it about 13,000 gallons, a little over 13,000 gallons? And so it will hold that much. But if we have 2 inches of rain in one day, a lot of that's going to go into the storm drain.
Because there's you have no storage tanks, right?
No,
Rain
we would
tanks.
love to do that, but like, it's a small space, and that creates a lot more issues. Storage tanks, keeping the water clean, keeping it not dangerous, so
Yes.
we do what we can. We are saving some water, but we would love to have a larger space where we could have a much larger catchment pond.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions?
So who walks through there? Is it students? Is it faculty? Is it visitors? Who uses it?
Well, thank you. So the whole idea behind the Botanical Garden was for professors and for other people at UCLA. We have a lot of students there that sit and study. Because we have these kind of tribute sites where we're trying not to make it look like a park, because it's not a park, but we do have seating sites where students can sit and study with a friend. It's usually 2 chairs. Benches become problematic because people start using them as beds. And so we have 2 chairs and a table. A lot of students use it. There's a lot of people that walk their children through the park. The weekends can become a little crazy when people let their kids swim in the stream. We have to be careful of that. One of the things that, what was I going to tell you? We also have a geography teacher that loves our garden because we have the largest amount of plants native to Hawaii living outdoors in the country, outside of Hawaii. Okay? There is a larger collection on the East Coast in a greenhouse. So he loves going there because we have these plants. Some of them are no longer growing in Hawaii. They had to put them into the botanical gardens because they're getting pushed out. So teachers will use it. We have one professor that runs the herbarium, and he loves poisonous plants. So he has a lot of Datura, Bermondsea. He loves like medicinal things that were used anciently in medicinal plants. And so yeah, we have professors that will come and do things. So yeah, it's multi-use, but we're trying to make it a nice place because there's nothing really over West LA besides this garden. So.
There's that cute little, almost like an amphitheater. Is that what that professor uses to teach his classes?
Sometimes professors, that is also a venue. People have gotten married there. So that's a venue, but professors can use that. He takes his students on tours to show them. Taking those students on tours. Sometimes instructors have scavenger hunts. You need to find a plant from this country, a plant from that country. So yeah, but that amphitheater is what I was talking about that we would like to, the project we'd like to redo.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Allison. I gotta go down there. I've been there for a while. And you all have a chance to see it with Allison in a limited number of seats. Please sign up in the back of the room if you're a member. If you're not a member, you could purchase a membership tonight. We have many different levels, so that would be one way to get you into the tour on the 22nd, led by Allison herself. Also to remind people, we have free plant cuttings from George. Our door prize here for tonight, we have a wonderful book on soils in California. Thank you for Allison for suggesting that. Thank you all for coming tonight, and hope to see you guys back on March 13th. Also, March 8th for our tour of the Tree of Life program. Everything's on our webpage, www.socalhort.org.
Thank you.